Hi guys, in this video we are going to look at the screens folder. In the screens folder we have our widgets that build our UI. Under the screens folder we have the home subfolder, the Momo subfolder, the more subfolder, and the shop subfolder. We have an extra folder in there called widgets. In this folder, we have reusable widgets that will be used across all subfolders. That is home, Momo, more, and shop. One last item in the screens folder is the main bottom bar screen.dat file. In that file, we define our bottom bar navigation items. In the build method, we have our auto tab scaffold, which comes from auto route, and in the auto tab scaffold we have our routes, which defines the routes for each page of the bottom navigation bar item, and right under it we have the bottom navigation builder. In here we build our bottom navigation bar with these items. The advantage auto route gives us is this: in our auto tab scaffold, right with the property bottom navigation builder, we get access to the tabs router, and with the tabs router we can access the active index as well as set the active index. In our on tab property we are calling the set active index method. Now the traditional way would be to create this anonymous function and then call the set index here, passing it index, right? But with that tear-offs, we can skip all these lines of code and make it a simple call like this. Now this code is equivalent to the previous code we wrote earlier, and we see this is far simpler and easier to write. So back to our route, we see that we have specified a home route, shop route, Momo route, and more route. By doing this, whenever we tap on each bottom bar item, it navigates to the desired route we want. To the home folder. In the home folder we have two items, that's the components folder and the home file. In the home.dat file, we have our home screen stateless widget. With auto route, we append the @route page tag on each screen to set it as a route for auto route to know. Once we mark it as @route page, we are able to go to our route configuration and then add it to auto route configuration. Now in our home screen, we are initializing our screen size in our build method. You remember in our screen size, we defined a void method called init that initializes the media query data, the screen width, screen height, and orientation. So in our home screen, which is the first screen that we go to whenever we launch our application, we have to initialize this screen size class, and this is just done once. Now in our scaffold we have defined our code here. You remember the app background shared components that I spoke about. The app background has the bottom layer and the upper layer. The bottom layer defines items from the quick access below to the bottom, and the upper layer defines items from the balances to the showing balance as at January 30th, 2024, 2:42:34 seconds PM. So in our app background, we define both the upper layer and the bottom layer. In our components folder in the home directory, we have two files. That is the balance section, which defines the balances at the top. So in here, we have our cards, that is the airtime, data, SMS, and broadband card. You realize that in the home widget, we have called the balance section in here in our upper layer. In the quick access section, this is where we define items for the bottom layer. So in here we have the quick access as well as the cards, quick access cards, that is data bundle just for you, send Momo and mashup. When we go back to the home screen, we see that we have called the quick access section to our bottom layer. I would leave you to go through the entire file and then to understand and what code has been written for what sections. So our Momo section is just one .dat file. In our Momo section or our Momo screen, we have as well the app background that defines the upper layer and also defines the bottom layer. In this particular screen, you realize that we have written everything in just one file. An issue has been created on the GitHub repo that tasks you, the developer, to extract this column as a widget outside this momo.dat file to create it as a component for Momo. The same thing applies for the bottom layer. You extract it and then create it as a new widget or a new component in the components folder in the Momo directory. I'm sure you can handle this task, therefore I look forward to it. In the more folder also has just one file, that is the more.dat file. In the more screen, our UI has been configured as such. The difference here is that in the more screen, we do not use the app background widget or wrapper, because in the more screen, the UI is different. You can go through this screen and understand what is written here. You can also create an issue on GitHub to see if you can extract certain components from this screen in order to reduce the number of lines of code. An excellent one would be to extract this build secondary button widget outside this file. In the shop directory, we have just one file, that is the shop screen. In this screen, we also do not use the app background because it is different from the home and Momo screen. So in here, we define our shop UI and all that is needed here. Again, you can go through this and see if there are any components you can extract from this file. Now, our last but not least folder is the widgets. In the widgets folder, we have the header.dat file, offers.dat file, and reusable widgets.dat file. In our header.dat file, we have the header stateless widgets that defines the top items or the header items for each screens. So you note that in our home.dat file, in our home screen, our header item is this, the MTN, MTN Ghana, and this icon here. In our shop screen, the header item is shop. In our Momo screen, the header item is Momo. Under offers, this is where we define this item here. In our home screen, you see that there is the pause offers and loyalty section. The offers.dat file helps us define our offers stateless widget. Now on the offers here is this, that is the pause offers and loyalty section, which is defined in the home screen and in the shop screen. So in here, we define our text header, which is this build headers and loyalty, and our container, which for now is just showing a yellow box. Our last item in the widget screen is the reusable widgets. In here, we have a number of widgets that would be used in our app. One is the build text header, and the other is the build view all button. The build view all button is the buttons you see here. That is this view all and this view all. And the build text header is used to define this, that is quick access. That is all for the screens folder. I trust that when you close the repository, you are going to go through every folder in this project. Try as much to understand what is going on and get yourself conversant with the widgets. After you are done, build this project, run it, and get this user interface that we have here. When you are done, head back to the repository on GitHub and check out the issues that have been created. Work on the issues and make a pull request to the dev branch of the project. I am much more excited to have you work on this project together. I believe that by the time we would finish with this project, you would have understood a lot of concepts in Flutter, and you will be more confident in building Flutter projects. See you in GitHub.